Hello, everyone, and welcome to another horrific review. Alright, tonight we are looking at Send Help, directed by Sam Raimi. An employee and her insufferable boss become stranded on a deserted island, the only survivors of a plane crash. Here they must overcome past grievance and work together to make it out alive. Alright, folks, I haven't done one of these live reviews before, but everything's working super slow. Hopefully, I'm out okay. Just time to record, etc. So, thought I'd jump on live. Anyway, got winter watch it. Watch this last week actually, and I haven't got around to reviewing it yet. Just life and busyness and all that good stuff. I really don't know how I feel about it. It's one of those movies where you're expecting one thing. Like I was expecting sort of drag me to hell, like typical Raimi, but it feels I don't know, it feels like something's missing. So premise is our main characters are Linda, who's some form of executive assistant. She has mentioned her job title about four times in this or something. It's corporate stuff. It's the corporate world. She is a square peg. Like her whole character just doesn't fit in with anybody, and they make that really obvious. So the trailer of this put me off because it was making it out to be something really straight laced. She's being taken advantage of, etc. But when you actually get into it, it's not that clear cut. So at least at the beginning of it, I was interested because yeah, she's got a new boss, Bradley, the new CEO, who's come in, and apparently she was close with his father, who had the company before him, that sort of thing. Because apparently, like public companies with CEOs can just pass hereditary like titles. I don't know. We've got your typical her supervisor uses her work. She's good with figures and does the reports, and he passes off his own. Like it's almost like a throwback to the 90s, like the yuppie culture. It really doesn't feel like today's corporate culture, which is still just as toxic. It's just toxic in a different way. It's almost like Raimi and the writing team are looking back to like I don't know American Psycho or something that sort of thing. Uh, we get a wee bit of it in the office, like with our colleagues, not just our male colleagues, but our female ones. We get a sort of bit of the modern, toxic corporate culture. Basically, if your face doesn't fit, doesn't matter what you do or how good you are, that's it. You're out. You're persona non grata sort of thing. So we're getting a bit of that. I think they should have maybe played that up a bit more because as we get later into this movie, it would have made a bit more sense. I don't know. They're trying to set. They're confused what to do with Linda. I think that's my issue. They're confused. They don't know whether to make her a straight up protagonist or an antagonist. They just don't know what to do with their character, and that's where this movie, in my opinion, fails. A lot of Linda's problems are of her own doing. She's just in the wrong environment, and that's fine. Um, you couldn't pay me enough to be in the corporate environment these days. I've done it in my younger years. It's horrible. I was a square peg. I totally get it. That's where I get to sympathize with the character. And you just know when something's not the right environment for you. There's people like that's completely their bag. That's where they're comfortable. That's where they'll excel. Yeah, fair enough. But people like Linda won't. But they're also setting her out to be this sort of put upon, uh, taken advantage of type person. But then again, all she has to have is a bit of ounce and people skills and actually should be all right. So it's jumping about there. Bradley is a two-dimensional character. He's a caricature. He's a spoiled little rich kid, little prince, keys handed to the kingdom, that sort of thing. And yeah, I suppose he's good at pressing the flesh, that sort of thing, but he's not even coming across as that. And it's all, like I said, it's that whole yuppie era, which doesn't really exist anymore. it's from another time, but he's playing that sort of character. Needless to say, there's this client in Tokyo, and they're looking to get rid of Linda because like uh they just can't stand her. You know, she rubs everybody up the wrong way, and there's a few better Raimi S scenes like she eats a sandwich, a tuna sandwich, and uh the mayonnaise gets on her, and she's like touching people and that, you know, and Raimi doing what Raimi does, you know, makes it like hyper grossalized, if that's even a word, but he, you know, he adds the sort of ick factor to it and really homes in that. You know, that's what Raimi does best. And we really should have seen more of that in this movie. There was enough of that, you know, of everything just being disgusting and over the top. It feels really dialed back. But needless to say, Linda's the one that prepared the report. Linda's the one that knows the figures. So they decide in their wisdom to bring her with them to Tokyo on the private jet. Now, you'd think with the entourage, this is where it's like kind of on the knuckle. Everyone else is a bloke on the plane. They're all the yuppie types. Yeah, we're going to party, blah, blah, blah. She's the one there on her own. Like, you think they'd brought another female colleague at least to keep her right or point her in the right direction if this deal was important, if that makes sense. That's where the whole comic thing goes a bit off the rails. It's like, yeah, if this is an important deal and not just a jolly weekend, like, and they needed her to be not be herself, which has been demonstrated that she basically has no charisma, no people skills, that they needed somebody to keep her in line, but they didn't. So as anime progresses, then we have the whole video where she basically applied to be part of Survivor series or something. I think it's a reality TV thing. And the sort of audition video is on the internet, and then that's where it all kicks off. The plane crash happens. The plane crash itself was quite decent. Once again, we get Raimi. We get him, you know, he's not shying away from the gore, etc. And it's done really well. So I enjoyed that. I think that's more about the movie. You enjoy scenes more than the movie itself. And that's where I'm going to be the give the positives. Like the the plane crash scene itself, yeah, you get the bits. It still feels dialed down. Like it doesn't feel full Raimi, if that makes sense. It's like somebody's been over his shoulder, or is it an AIDS thing or what? But he, he's definitely toned down from what he's used to. Maybe it's because he's done all the superhero stuff, and that's addled his brain and made it like a childlike sort of thing. This is his first adult movie, isn't it? Grown up movie since doing all the silly superhero stuff. Um, yeah, so what happens? Then we get the scene, which we pretty much see in the trailer. Her and Bradley are the only two left. She saves his life, and then she starts. It's this power dynamic thing. He's broken his leg. He's helpless. This is the bit of the movie that goes on way too long. I think this is where it slows down because this movie's nearly 2 hours long. Believe it or not, like comedy slasher, comedy horror. You know, 90 minutes at most. This loses punch because this is the scene, and I don't know why, but this part, her going and finding, you know, ways to survive, etc., sort of building a bond, and then they're playing about with each other. You know, he's trying to get one up on her. She's trying to get one up on him. Oh, there's Crystal. Hey man, nothing. It doesn't hold a candle to Drag Me to Hell. That's what I was just saying there before you jumped on. I think he's done the superhero, like the kiddie stuff, too long, and this is his first grown-up movie, and he's forgotten how to do horror because it's just really dialed back. There's some elements there, but it's Drag Me to Hell is a far superior movie, and it's re. This isn't like I'll be honest. This is not a rewatch. This is you've seen it once, and that's it. File and forget. Like you're not playing this up again, and people might defend it, whatever else, because of Sam Raimi. Still a Sam Raimi fan. It's not like I've stopped being a fan, but this is just not not a good piece. Oh, flip. Something else. How's it cast? It could have been that there was elements there. Like I said, if I had a went full misery, um, Linda was starting to go down that road, but it didn't follow anything through. This is my issue with the movie. There's beats there that if they just stuck to one and followed it through, God, this could have been amazing. Like this would have been edge of your seat. And then obviously Raimi's over the top theatrics and the comedy element would have just uh been another banger, but it wasn't that at all. It's like they're afraid to take there's something going on here. I don't know why it's a studio or what, or his first horror in a long time, but this movie feels like it's holding back. It feels like it doesn't want to go there. There's a line it's drawn in the sand for itself that it doesn't want to cross. And you just get that nagging at you the whole way through the movie. And like I said, this elongated scene where she's surviving, etc., and then they have a battle of wills when Bradley's leg heals and he can move about. But once again, that takes far too long in the movie. Like you're way past the halfway point before anything of significance happens. There was a scene with the rat that was cool. Once again, part of the power dynamics, but once again, it wasn't followed through. It just didn't go anywhere. They couldn't decide whether they wanted Linda to completely devolve into her psychosis and show her true personality, but they wanted her to still be the hero, which is where the ending of this just really makes you go, "What are you doing here?" Um, it's not until like we're way past the halfway point when his Bradley's fiance appears. Basically, they've been out searching for him, and that's where we see the other side of things with Linda. But even then, it's not fully uh explored. It's like a cutaway scene, almost as if forget about it, and then it's brushed under the carpet. I'm obviously it's still recently out, so I'm going to avoid spoilers if that makes sense. That's why I'm kind of doing what I'm doing. I where is it? We got to the sort of third act. The third act is a big reveal about the island and Linda. And once again, they don't follow it through. It could have been like Misery. This could have been exactly like Misery, but it didn't. The held back on it because I think either Raimi wanted Linda to be the hero or somebody's told him that she has to be the hero because her character keeps getting dialed back. I'm not going to bring that comment up. Have you seen this movie, Chris? That's a spoiler comment, so I'll not bring it up in the stream just in case. Um, well, but that is a factor as well. Like I said, they keep dialing back, but don't get the resolution. And to be honestly, the way they tried to make the character of Bradley out in the trailer was nothing. If it had been her direct supervisor, it would have made sense. Yeah, that's it, right? Okay, so you're getting where I'm coming from here, aren't you? Especially when you've seen Drag Me to Hell and Recover Evil. We know what Raimi's like at his best. This is it's frustrating. There's something going on with the movie, and yeah, it's they have this whole character arc that doesn't get a payoff. And I think Bradley was the wrong character to be trapped in the island. It should have been the other Donovan, was it? The other character or direct supervisor who was stealing her work and passed it off as her own. If it had been him, then there would have been the proper antagonistic relationship. But her issue with Bradley is that his father, who was the previous CEO before he passed, had promised her a promotion. And then when he took over, he didn't give it to her But the movie also shows you that on no planet on Earth would you give Linda a promotion. Would you put her as a main contact? Because she's just not that sort of person. Especially in the corporate, like I said, the corporate environment is either for you or it isn't, and it wasn't for her. Now we see her coming into her own on the island, but even that doesn't get paid off because of the reveal at the end. So her skills is that, and her character growth is actually just it destroys her character arc at the end. And then just the way it goes is, yeah, really frustrating. Um, like I said, I don't know what else to say without spoilers. Obviously chipping in the chat if you have seen this, and if you're agreeing on the thoughts, because I'm like, I was disappointed, and thing is, I know what they expect from Raimi. Like when Raimi's on fire, when he's doing his thing, like can't ask for more. Like you leave a movie and you're splitting your sides. I hardly laughed at this, and that's a thing that hurt too because I still laugh at Drag Me to Hell. We're covering Ash versus Evil Dead, still splitting the sides of that. The original Evil Dead's still laugh at them. You know what I mean? This still engender a chuckle. This didn't. And I felt that, the fact that I wasn't laughing made me go, oh, right. Something's not right here. So that's when you know in your gut. I think that's why I held off doing the review as well, because I'm seeing people, all the titles of reviews coming up and everyone's lashing praise on it. And I watched it and I'm like, I'm not seeing what they're seeing. And I didn't know if it was a me thing. But when I got thinking about it, it's not something's in this movie's way. It's overly long. They spent too long in certain parts of it. And because they didn't know what to do with Linda's character, you don't get the payoff. They had the wrong antagonist as well because they spent, what was that, about 15 minutes setup before the crash. So you've got all this office dynamics, you've got all the backstab, and you've got all the usual stuff. You've got the sneering, you've got her going around like a wrecking ball, completely oblivious. And yeah, the setup then for what happens on the island doesn't make sense because it's completely um out of there. Yeah, shame. It was a shame. The end of this movie really annoyed me. The end scene. That's my issue. Is I think you wouldn't have been rooting for Linda if the movie wasn't trying so hard to get you to root for it. For the movie was almost telling you who to like, and that was annoying. And we all enjoy a good villain. Just make her a villain, make her a good villain, and that would have been it. I mean, this would have been a cracking movie. She wasn't the protagonist. Like it didn't make sense. And they give us a whole setup to explain why she wasn't the protagonist. And in fact, she wasn't hard done by. And the fact that she was stranded on the island with the wrong person in the office. The person in the office who did her wrong, did he even get on the plane? I don't even know. Yeah, he was one of the ones on the plane. And then he didn't make it. No, that's what I mean. It just the whole premise, the setup was there, and then they started hinting. What was it? They talk about her. She's been married, she's not married anymore, and they started hinting that there's more to this, but we didn't get that payoff either. No, I mean it was just dangled there in front of us, and that didn't that didn't pay off either. So I think this movie's been hobbled. I think the studio's gotten Raimi's ear, I honestly do. I think this is studio interference. I think there was a plan for the movie, and it would have been uh, much better, more than what we're used to, and what we come to expect from Raimi. But I genuinely think their studios went, "No, we can't have that. No, we can't do that. No, you can't end it that way. No, you can't show that. No, that's not." I can feel it in the back of my head. Somebody's in there chirping, going, "No, no, 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 no," and that's why we've got this. And it is a bit of a jumbled mess. Yeah, it's taken me a week to do this review because I was really rocked. Anything to do with Sam Raimi or his properties or that, I mean, I'm a fan and I really wanted to enjoy this and I was looking forward to it. And I'm like, yes, we're back to some proper comedy horror, and it just didn't happen. And I think that's what it is. I think the studios just hobbled this. They've just got involved and they've stopped them telling the story. Is it because Linda's a female character and they can't have her being shown to be bad or something? But they're not. Raimi's how many empowered female characters has Raimi created over the years? Starting with Xena, you know what I mean? That doesn't make sense. He's a director that can be trusted with female characters, so I don't know why they would think he would be disingenuous. Um, yeah, really annoyed me, and it's a shame. But you guarantee most people won't watch this again. Guaranteed, people won't revisit this. It's a flash in the pan. It's a knee jerk reaction because of Sam Raimi. It's that typical, yeah, must like this because blah blah blah. But it's like most things, this will disappear. It's not a long standing movie. It's a fire and forget. It'll just whittle away, and people forget it even happened. It'll barely be mentioned again. And I can just see that. Like you can put Drag Me to Hell on anytime and still enjoy it. You can put the Evil Dead movies on anytime, still enjoy them, things like that. But this is not that at all. And the end scene is just, I don't know what the hell that was meant to be. That was almost like it was hammered on, like somebody got hammer nails and went and just hammered that end scene on because it wasn't part of this movie. It just didn't fit. It really felt um that felt like a studio just directed that and behind a green screen and just shoved it on there. Ah well, not a good start to 2026 anyway with movies, and I've still to do Return to Silent Hill, but I've heard that's atrocious, and I've been avoiding that one to be honest because if it's going to be like a really bad movie, I don't want to waste my time. I mean, I want to enjoy stuff. I want to just enjoy movies, and sick of this half-hour shite that comes out lately. Like it's so difficult with movies coming out now. Like definitely the last 5 years, and I'm seeing it more in the horror genre. Like we thought we were lucky that other genres like were crashing and burning. Now it seems like the chickens have come home to roost, and we're getting all the crap now. And it's just why? There's no need. Oh well. Hopefully, what else have we got coming up? I'll need to check. I know I'm covering stuff. Hopefully, the next one is a lot better. I don't want to be one of those people that stays in the 1980s and the 1990s going, I remember when movies were good. I remember. And, you know, I want to see new movies. I want to see new properties. I want to see just a sense of fun, which uh, horror comedy brings. I just want to see that. I don't want to just be stuck with the same 10 movies or 20 movies over the time and just rewatch them. You know what I mean? That's not much of a life. You just become that person, and yeah, that's not exciting at all. Anyway, there you go. There's my review. It was a shame. Could have been good, but studio interference or something has got us claws into this movie and decided to derail it. Confusing characters, no clear arc, no payoff, and a really slap hazard and disappointing ending. There you go. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I just season say, until next time, keep up to date with the channel, do the type of clicky things, and remember to keep it creepy, keep it horrific.